My name is Asha Patel, and I head up marketing at Google in South Africa. And a very warm welcome to you all to Google for South Africa. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of our government representatives here today. I also welcome our partners in the audience, business leaders, media, and friends. Today is a very special day for us because it is the first time that we are hosting Google for South Africa. You will hear from our team about new developments and commitments that we are making to build inclusive products and services for everyone in South Africa. Now, I'm sure you'll agree with me that this is an exciting time in our country's digital development, with a rapidly growing internet population of 32 million. For us at Google, it's been incredible to witness this momentum. And this week marks 12 years of Google's investment and physical presence in South Africa. Our South African office opened with just 4 Googlers, and now we're an office of more than 50. Please, can all the Googlers in the room raise their hands and wave? We believe that technology is an enabler and can change people's lives. And this is why, in 2017, to strengthen our commitment to the African continent, our CEO, Sundar Pichai, announced 3 bold commitments to support growth in Africa for Africans. Firstly, as you all know, our continent has one of the youngest populations in the world. And so we believe that it's important that investments are made into education to prepare the youth for the world of tomorrow. With this in mind, Sundar committed to provide free digital skills training to 10 million Africans over 5 years. I am excited to let you know that to date, we have trained 4 million people across 29 countries in Africa. Of these 4 million trained, over 60% have recorded a positive impact on their jobs, careers, and businesses. One of the key focus areas of our digital skills training has been the empowerment of women and minority groups. And I'm also happy to say that 48% of the people that we have trained are women. Secondly, this year in South Africa, we piloted the Advanced Learning Lab. This is a certified, in-depth 6-day training program specifically designed to equip entry-level individuals with the skills that they need around Google Analytics, Google Ads, YouTube, Search, and Google Cloud. 54% of our intake this year were women, and since the pilot in September, some of the graduates have already been placed in fully salaried jobs. Now, we also understand the importance of preparing South Africans for the jobs of tomorrow. And this is why we have invested in multiple initiatives around developer and computer science training. In August this year, we launched the nationwide program of Computer Science First, aimed at teaching grade 4 to 8 pupils the basics of coding, reaching 30,000 students within a year. These trainings will be focused on public, rural, and special needs schools. Now, to bring this all together, just yesterday we hosted a skills fair and trained close to 300 attendees from surrounding communities on cloud developer training, training for SMBs, and job seekers. We'll closely be monitoring their progress to determine how these skills have impacted their careers and jobs. Now, none of this work would be possible without partners. We have a network of 700 trainers from 12 organizations across South Africa, and some of our partners are actually with us here in the audience today. Could we please give them a round of applause? Our second commitment was to train the next generation of African developers. So far, 15,000 developers have been trained, and in May, in partnership with Andela and Plural Sites, we have awarded an additional 33,000 scholarships to aspiring developers from a pool of 120,000 applications to help African developers become certified on Android, web, and cloud technologies. We also know that we have a role to play in supporting entrepreneurship. We believe that entrepreneurs will create the jobs of the future. And so as our third commitment, we allocated $3 million of equity-free support for 60 technology startups through our Launchpad Accelerator Africa program. This program provides mentoring and workspace to participating startups. To date, we have graduated 35 startups who have created 385 jobs and raised over $19 million in funding. These 9 South African startups have been through the program. Congratulations. Our final commitment made was to support NGOs and social enterprises, and we're on track on Sundar's commitment to allocate $20 million over 5 years in Google.org grants across the African continent. As part of this commitment, we awarded $6 million through the Google Impact Challenge last year to 36 organizations, 12 of them from South Africa. This is their story.
When I've saved someone's life or saved them from a potential trauma, the feeling is that of I have a purpose in this world.
I get fired up working with people and unlocking creativity in them.
Our launch, we had this incredible pooling of ministers and leaders of business. It felt like our country had turned the corner and we were working on this together.
And now we have over 160 languages and we have over 5,500 storybooks.
It's amazing to see the changes of these farmers. As an example, Nando's is now procuring nearly 80% of their chilies from small farmers.
I want to create 1,000 amazing people that will go out into this world and impact another 1,000. And then that number starts multiplying.
Every single child on this planet should have access to hearing and vision testing before they enter the schooling system. It dramatically alters the life course of young children.
One of the biggest motivators, I think, is coming from the young people. The fact that they're the ones experiencing this, but their passion and hunger to actually find a space within the economy.
In a space where people are living in such despair, for somebody to get up and say, but there's hope, we can be better. It's moved me. Always remember, people, there's hope.
When you come and speak to someone, you can literally see this is not the same guy you spoke to some time back. In total, since we've started Zlato, there's been about 400,000 hours of positive work.
When you solve the problem at a global level, you're just seeing this entire difference that you're making. That's what actually just hits me every morning.
When you do this work, you realize that there's something bigger than you. That's a feeling that I can't even describe. They've proved to us what human beings are capable of.
Now, building on this, I'm glad to announce that this year we are investing $1 million as part of our 5-year commitment into nonprofits and social enterprises to support the economic empowerment of girls and women in South Africa. One of these NGOs from South Africa include Codex, which works to create an ecosystem of female coders from underrepresented groups. We will also be partnering with local nonprofits to assist with capacity building and to provide smaller grants to nonprofits in South Africa. The work that these organizations do to support women and young girls is commendable, and we are excited and honored to be working with them. So, as you've just heard and will be hearing today, Google remains committed to making our products even more helpful for South Africans and people across Africa. We are excited for you to learn about the new developments and commitments that we are making to build inclusive products and services for everyone in South Africa. Thank you to our partners and collaborators within government and the private sector. We deeply value your support. Thank you to you all once again for coming out here today to join us this morning. Now, I'm excited to welcome the Director of Android Partnerships for Africa, Miriam, to talk about new developments on Android.
Asha. Good morning, everybody. Must I mention the rugby first for you guys to cheer? My name is Mariam, and I lead Android platform partnerships for the African continent. So from the very start, our mission with Android has been to put the power of computing in everybody's hands, and to make sure that it serves as a platform for all users, thereby creating a more inclusive internet. Today, we have over 2.5 billion Android users globally. Just for context, that's almost the population of India and China combined. With the Android operating system so readily available, one might ask, why do you feel the need to introduce Android Go? The simple answer is thanks to a lot of feedback from our users. Our users asked for affordable but high-quality devices. So last year in 2018, we created Android Go. Android Go is a configuration of the Android operating system that has been optimized for lower memory devices. We made big improvements in 4 key areas. Firstly, we created room for more storage. We were able to give users twice as much storage as before, more room for those precious memories and selfies that we all love, I guess, and for your music. Secondly, by optimizing the operating system, we were able to positively impact the performance. We all like that speed, right? And currently, we're able to make sure that applications open 15% faster on Android Go. Thirdly, we gave better data management. And better data management meaning your data and my data going that a little bit further. Finally, security improvements on Android Go devices mean that your $20-something device operates and is as secure as your $1,000 device, allowing you to be able to remotely lock, erase, track your device should you have the unfortunate incident of it being lost or even stolen. With Android Go, we were able to also optimize on the app experience, app user experience. That's first-party apps from Google, such as Google Search, YouTube, Maps, Gmail, and the likes. But we didn't just stop there. We also optimized on third-party applications. We know in South Africa, as well as the wider African continent, there's more entry-level devices than there are other devices, and they make up the majority of devices. However, our work is not done. This is why we continue to work with our partners, many of whom are in the room. These include telecommunication service providers, manufacturers, as well as retailers. We continue to progressively work on those price points. Entry-level devices dropped by 50% in the last 4 years. That's 50%. However, we know we still have a lot of work to do. So with Android Go, since we launched Android Go, that price point came down a further $18. And this is only possible thanks to the key partnerships we have in South Africa and the whole continent as a whole. We've been able to lower the price of entry-level devices in South Africa to $27 without compromising quality. I think that deserves a round of applause. Again, for context, these are some of the most cost-effective devices in the world. In addition to affordable devices, we know that you all need content, you need services to light up your devices. And our partnerships have been able to help us effectively address that as well. You may remember Vodacom kicked off and offered users free YouTube for 3 months. That's 3 months of you being able to learn a new skill, perhaps, get a tip on fashion, and maybe even become a YouTube star. We also partnered with Mobicel, a South African manufacturer, to drive user awareness on key features of Android so people know what to do with those phones. But we didn't stop there. This year, we have partnered with MTN to offer free data for YouTube and other applications for 6 months with the purchase of any Android Go devices on the MTN network. With all that, we know that our work is not done, and we're just at the beginning. 90% of entry-level devices in South Africa are Android Go devices. Remember, it was only introduced a year ago. And this is one of the highest adoption rates in the world. In addition, 1 in every 3 devices sold in the South African market is a Mobicel device. And with all this impact, as I said, it's only the beginning. We continue to build the Android ecosystem. We continue to strengthen our partnerships to make sure South African users, as well as the wider African market, continue to have access to an inclusive internet and amazing mobile experiences. Here's a short video I'd like to share with you on some of the experiences that are going on around the continent.
Over the last 21 years, our mission at Google has been to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. This is particularly true with Android, where we aim to bring the power of computing to everyone.
There is the challenge of availability and affordability of devices and data. More than half of the users in Nigeria do not have access to the internet.
Together with our manufacturer and mobile operator partners, we have launched the most affordable smartphones in many African markets.
We are predominantly focused on the entry-level smartphone devices, of which are really price sensitive.
Apart from it being affordable, it's definitely efficient and it's a great phone.
Nilikuwa natumia mbika mwizi na wakati walikuwa wanatangaza kwa radio, sasa mimi nikaona hata mimi nastahili niwe nikae kama wengine.
Out-of-box experience that we get with Android Go Edition device is fantastic. You get better storage capacity, you get better usage of mobile applications.
The sole goal of Android Go was to improve entry-level smartphone experience, and we focused on 4 key promises: storage, speed, efficient usage of data, and security.
It's efficient in its utilization. We're getting better NPS scores. It's transforming the lives of our customers.
I definitely think that the storage capacity is much larger. I feel like my apps open a lot faster and I can just do things a lot faster, so it's a lot more efficient.
Android Go innovation has really stimulated our device sales and increased our performance by more than 20%. In fact, they are the fastest selling devices on our network.
This Android Go Edition helps a lot customers to use video streaming, music streaming services.
Opening up the internet to users opens up a whole new world.
Android Go powers people to have a digital life.
I think giving people in Africa internet means a way forward.
We get to show the world who we are.
I would like to once again thank our partners. Without you, this would not have been possible. And we continue to work together continuously to make sure that we are make sure we're charting more success for the continent and South Africa. Please help me celebrating and appreciating our partners, many of whom are in the room. I'd now like to call to the stage my friend and colleague Fortune Sibanda, who is going to tell you about some really exciting products and features we're launching in South Africa today.
Thank you. All right, turn it down. Isn't she amazing? Let's give her another round of applause. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Wow, everyone looks so beautiful today, eh? I like it. It's Christmas? Okay. So my name is Fortune Sibanda, and I'm the head of public policy and government relations at Google in sub-Saharan Africa. In my daily job, I work closely with policymakers and government, and I'm so excited to be here today to share some of the new products we're bringing to South Africa that closely align with the government's focus on the 4th industrial revolution. I'm going to talk about 2 products today. One probably you've already heard of before, and one maybe you haven't, Bolo. Both these products are all about helping South Africans learn, and do things even faster. Now, I first want to talk about Google Go. I want to talk about how we are making Google Go relevant for South Africa. We launched Google Go last year, and it was designed with a lot of local research. And it's got the following main features. Google Go only takes 7 megabytes to download, and it works very fast on slow connections. And searches use up to 40% less data. And we all know how data is so expensive here in South Africa, right? Data must fall is the word, right? And what we have seen, the most popular queries on Google Go have been sports, gaming, arts and entertainment, and jobs. This shows that whether you're searching for your favorite sports team, like Orlando Pirates, it's the only team. So this shows that whether you're searching for your favorite team or finding your next career opportunity, South Africans are finding Google Go helpful for their daily lives. This year, we also rolled out Discover to Google Go to make it easier to stay on top of your interests directly on the app. Discover is a feed that gives you stories that you care about without the need to search. Discover uses machine learning to anticipate what's interesting and important to you, taking into account what's trending as well as your interactions with Google. Who put Manchester United here? This needs to be taken off. Discover is already available in the main Google app in South Africa, and integrating it with Google Go will now make it accessible to millions more users, helping them stay up to date on their interests. Also starting today, you will be able to access the assistant directly from Google Go. So by tapping on this little icon there and only using your voice, you'll be able to ask questions, make phone calls, or even play music videos without typing a single word. Isn't that amazing? Thank you. Now we know that the web is still very much largely text-based, but we are now seeing that voice has become more central to how we use the internet. So that's why last year we announced an incredibly special read-out feature that allows you to listen to any website. This makes written information on the web accessible to South Africans that have got low literacy, poor eyesight, and other visual obstacles. Isn't that a game changer, guys? Thank you. Now to the next app that I want to talk about. According to the United Nations, 617 million youth worldwide still lack basic math and literacy skills. And even worse, more than half the children that are not enrolled in school live in sub-Saharan Africa. Now you can imagine this. Not only does this make your day-to-day life really hard, but it severely limits your potential as an individual. At Google, we really care about this problem. And we believe solving this could have a transformative impact for children and for everyone. That's why we've been working closely with our colleagues on what we think can help our children fundamentally to improve their reading abilities. Introducing Bolo. Now, Bolo, I know I'm going to get these questions already. Bolo is a Hindi word which means to say. Bolo is a speech reading app that helps children to learn to read. Bolo has a helpful AI-powered reading assistant called Dia. Dia encourages children to read out loud, just as they naturally do. Dia also provides customized feedback to encourage children to read well and helps them when they get stuck. Now, my son Maru, some of you know him here because I take every slightest opportunity to share his pictures. He's turning 3 this December. But he has already started using this app, and he absolutely loves it when Dia compliments him. Those that know him also know that he's very stubborn. So when Dia says he's wrong, he wants to fight with Dia, but Dia always wins. I wish I was Dia in that relationship. Now, I want to show you how this actually works. And I've got my colleague here, Tez. I want him to come through and show us in practice how it works. Please welcome Tez.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining.
Welcome.
Library. Say again, read a story or add a new story.
This is Bolo. The main home screen of the app has a list of recommended stories that change every day, and they're personalized to the child's reading level. There is a vast library of labeled books and games from where a child can read any story anytime.
Prizes. These are your prizes. Read more to get new prizes.
And there is the prizes section where children collect badges and stars as they read more and more. I'll shortly open a book and read a few lines. I'll struggle at first and then read smoothly so you can see the feedback mechanism at work.
Library. Let's read. Counting animals.
One elephant is going to drink water.
Excellent. You read so fast.
2 cows.
Read aloud. Giraffes.
Giraffes are going to
drink. D-I-R-I-N-K. Drink.
Drink water.
Excellent. You read very well. Read 8 more minutes to finish. Uh-oh, you didn't keep your stars.
As you can see, Dia knows when I'm stuck, and she's able to help me get back on track. I'll hand it back over to Fortune to tell you more about Bolo. Thank you.
Thank you, Tez. Isn't that amazing? At least we now know that Tez cannot read giraffe. We'll take some time to teach him at the back. As you would have noticed, Dia helped Tez when he was stuck and encouraged him with excellent or well done when he read well. At the end of every reading session, Dia also suggests that Tez plays a game, which he can decide to play at any time, like arranging jumbled words or speed reading in 20 minutes. Now, here is another amazing thing about Bolo. Once the app is downloaded, it works completely offline. That's brilliant, right? So you do not need any more data, again, the issue of data, even for the speech recognition. Finally, as the app is designed for children, we make sure that there are no ads and any personal information always stays on the device. At the end of this, you actually are going to be able to go to the back. I think that's the Bolo stand there. You'll be able to play around with yourself and see how it actually works in practice. One of the top requests we received was to bring Bolo to other regions when we originally launched it in India. That is why I am so excited today to share that Bolo is now available in South Africa. Did I also mention it's free, all right? Mahala, gratis. I personally believe that Bolo has a huge potential to improve children's literacy in South Africa. I'm excited to share that since our launch in India, Ghana, Kenya, and Nigeria, more than 800,000 children from more than 28,000 towns and villages have used the app to read stories more than 3 million times. In the words of our CEO, Sundar Pichai, we know that technology alone cannot improve education, but we strongly believe that it can be a powerful part of that solution. In a pilot study we conducted with operational support from the annual Status of Education report, we found that 64% of kids that used the app showed a marked improvement in their reading proficiency. That's the kind of impact that we'd like to see. We know that improving your reading skills is only possible if you have enough relevant books to read. So that's why the app has over 30 African origin books from regional sources like the African Storybook and Book Dash to complement the already existing 50 English origin books. We've brought one such story to life in the digital playground there at the back, and that is Thuli's Special Secret, written by our very own author, Violetsi Tsatsi. We will also be collaborating with the Global Book Alliance to bring hundreds more African origin books to Bolo. For me, every child that learns to read is another child who has been empowered to become a future author, a future doctor, a computer scientist, or a teacher. We believe that the transformative power of education and literacy can impact our society in a positive way. And that's why we are committed to bringing these benefits to as many people as is possible. With those words, I'd like to call upon stage my good friend Lorraine, who's going to give us an overview of some exciting editions on Search. Lorraine, over to you.
Thank you, Fortune. And hello, everyone. I'm Lorraine Landon, and I head up the agency team in South Africa. At Google, our mission has always been to organize the world's information, making it universally useful and accessible. To do this, we scan through billions of pages so that we give you the most relevant answers when you want it. Of the trillions of searches on Google every year, many are about people and organizations. This is particularly important when it comes to celebrities, musicians, sports stars, and influencers. We want to hear from them directly, and this means fresh and up-to-date content. In 2017, we launched Posts on Google to allow organizations to connect with users searching for them. But we found our users want more. You are constantly asking questions and searching for answers from prominent people as well, from where they grew up to how they got their career started. So we created Cameos, a selfie-style video app which allows celebrities and public figures to answer questions about themselves on Google search. Now, when you ask a question about your favorite celebrity, we will show you their answers in short videos. Say we want to know more about Lady Zamar, where she grew up. You could get the answer by typing in the question, or you could say, "Hey Google, where did Lady Zamar grow up?" to any assistant device, and hear or even see the answer. You can also see the answers by searching for the celebrity on Google search. Try searching for Google for Lady Zamar and get to know more about her life and music. With Cameos, public figures can directly respond to top searched questions about them on Google with a quick video answer. You get to be the authority on you. As we continue to build for everyone, we believe it is important to bring the most important and relevant answers to South Africans. Now, more and more people are searching using their voice. And often they come to a Google Assistant for everyday actions like setting a timer or learning how to make the best roast chicken. The Google Assistant is helping people all over the world and is now available in 30 languages across 80 countries. And I'm particularly excited about what they're doing in South Africa. At the heart of Google Assistant is helpfulness. And every month, millions of users in South Africa are turning to Assistant to help navigate, communicate, find answers, and get their favorite content, including news. To get things done in our lives, we often turn to our favorite apps and services. So to build a product that's more helpful and personal for your life, the Assistant has to work seamlessly with these apps. I'm not sure the question really needs to be asked, but who here watched the rugby on the weekend? So let's imagine it is last weekend and we were going to watch the rugby with friends. Here is how the Google Assistant could help you cheer them on. Taz will be demonstrating this for us. So, hey Taz.
Hi again.
He's still recovering from learning how to spell giraffe. So, game day rolls around, and you've been invited to watch the match with your friends. You start the day in the same way you would every other day, with the news. Taz, find out the news.
Okay, Google. Tell me the latest sports news. Oh.
Speak a little louder. So next, it would be a good idea to check the weather and make sure you won't be caught in the rain. You ask your assistant, Taz.
Yeah, no one likes the rain. Okay, Google, will it be raining today? The sound is not quite working.
Yes, hope you've got sunblock. Now let's make sure we've got a list of everything we need to take to the braai.
Okay, Google, what do you need to take to a braai? Yeah, it's gonna be lit.
That's quite an extensive list. But now that we know what to take to our braai, let's make our way to the shops to buy everything.
Oh yeah. Okay, Google, book an Uber to Santin City. Ooh.
As you saw, this takes you seamlessly into the app experience and pre-populates your destination. So all you have to do is press confirm. Once you've gotten all the things you need and you're in an Uber on the way to the braai, you want to send a message to your friend to let them know you're on your way.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Google. Okay, Google. Send a message to John. I'm on my way. Yeah.
And to make sure that you remain the ever humble friend, let's set a reminder to call John in England to console him.
Oh yeah. Okay, Google. Set a reminder to call John when I get home.
So as you've seen, whatever your day looks like, apps, services, and partners like these help you interact with the world around you. The Google Assistant is here to help you get it done, so you can then focus on the important things, like rugby, braai, and friends. Thank you, Taz.
Thanks, Lord.
And like all of the other products you've seen today, they share a common goal: to be helpful. We believe the benefits of technology should be accessible to everyone, and we are dedicated to help building products that help people with their day-to-day lives around the world and right here in South Africa. We've brought some of these features to life in our digital playground, so please do take a look. I'm now very excited to introduce you to our next speaker, Annie.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Annie Jean-Baptiste, and I lead product inclusion at Google. I'm so excited to be here with you all today and talk about the work that our team is doing to build with an inclusive lens. Now, I've been at Google for 9 years, focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion for much of that time. And I'm truly passionate about products that accurately reflect the diversity of our users. At Google, we talk a lot about building for everyone, and our team added with everyone to our mission. We truly believe that you cannot create products and services for communities without asking and co-creating with them. We build for users across the world, and to make sure that we get those perspectives to the table at those critical moments in the product design process, we created the product inclusion team to help product teams up-level diverse and underrepresented voices and to truly center them. Diversity and inclusion is core to Google's beliefs. Many times, our CEO, Sundar Pichai, has talked about this, like in the Medium post, where he stated that diverse perspectives and backgrounds lead to better decisions, products, and services. Senior leaders all across Google are excited to set the tone and move this work forward. There are also numerous studies showing that diversity leads to more innovation and better decisions. The challenge is not only to bring underrepresented voices and employees to the culture, but to create a culture that really allows everyone to thrive. And when we do that, the different backgrounds and experiences that make everyone beautifully unique can come into the product design process, and that's when we can truly build for everyone and with everyone. So, what does that look like in practice? Here's an example of how an inclusive lens and approach has taken outcomes that are good for not just some users, but for all users. One of our first partners was the sensors team. They worked with us when we first started this work 2 years ago, and they knew that they wanted to make sure that any product that had a sensor accurately and beautifully represented all skin tones, and so they sought out our help. This was a huge priority for Google, and so I'd love to show you a snippet of our work.
Pictures tell stories. It doesn't really matter if it's a selfie or if it's a portrait that somebody is taking of another person. You are sharing in that human moment.
Let's take a picture of you two. 1, 2, 3. No, he's too dark.
So this is where the discussion started.
Here, just use my phone. It's got a better sensor.
A better sensor? What does that even mean? Color tuning is an extremely complicated process. When we look at images, what we try to do is figure out how much of a difference there is between, let's say, a reference image and the image that we actually are trying to quantify. We were running some tests on a product, and it was the proximity sensor we were testing. And we said, oh, it looks like it does 60 centimeters. And we looked at each other and we go, we're both white. The technology itself, as many people will say, is not racist. It's just that it wasn't tested properly to make sure that the designers weren't unconsciously biased. Hey, there's an entire world out there and we want to make sure this works for everybody. I love the fact that we get to influence cameras, that we get to share those experiences of life and emotion. And to me, that is what imaging is about. It is a vehicle to express humanity.
Take a picture of you two. 1, 2, 3.
So, what is the focus of product inclusion? It's about thinking about multiple dimensions of diversity and the intersections of those dimensions. So taking myself as an example, I'm a left-handed black woman. And now, I'm not black on Monday, a woman on Tuesday, and left-handed on Wednesday, right? I'm having all of those dimensions of diversity impact how I move through the world every day and how I intersect with products. And so as we think about the billions of users across the globe that interact with our products, we're thinking about getting those dimensions to the table and how we specifically think about historically underrepresented people in the product design process. Though this work is officially 2 years old, it really truly leans into Google's mission. At the core of our 21-year-old mission is product inclusion. And we've refined that mission to emphasize that as a company, we want to create more opportunities for people so that they can truly experience equitable outcomes. And when we talk about organizing the world's information and making it universally accessible and useful, it's truly the universal part that we're leaning into. So no matter where you are in the globe, who you love, what you look like, how old you are, or any of the things that make you unique, we want to make sure that that is thought of in the product design process. Now this work builds on accessibility and the work of the Next Billion Users team, but it also expands specifically to look at the dimensions that you see here on the screen, and again, the intersections of those dimensions. Historically, inclusive design has focused on accessibility, and so we want to expand the conversation to talk about the dimensions you're seeing on the screen and more. And we're truly looking at all dimensions of diversity and the intersections of those throughout the entire product design process and leaning into building with an inclusive lens. Now, I always love to come to presentations with some data around why this is actually truly also core to business decisions. So for ethnic and cultural diversity, top quartile companies were 33% more likely to outperform on profitability. And a survey of employees at 1,700 companies in 8 countries across North America, Asia, and Europe found that those that reported above average diversity on their management team reported innovation revenue that was 19 percentage points higher than those of companies with lower than average leadership diversity. So when we think about product inclusion, we want to think about how we bring those perspectives to the table. And we don't just do this in isolation. We're partnering with Googlers and external partners to make sure that we're truly taking a global approach. Here are a few more examples of the work we've done. You've just heard from the assistant team about all of the exciting new features that are coming to South Africa. Well, South African Googlers actually helped to test the Google Assistant before it launched, so that we were ensuring that we were building inclusively and that the launch would be successful for everyone. And that was truly a moment of building for everyone and with everyone. So what's next for the team? We'll be expanding our presence at the Paralympics in Tokyo in 2020 to make sure that the athletes, attendees, and their families have technology that works for them that can be helpful as the games go on. We're also doing research on the business case for inclusion, which we'll be sharing more about how the teams at Google are doing this work to build for everyone and with everyone. So keep an eye out for that, as it'll be launching externally next March. We're on a journey, and we know that we have work to do to accurately reflect the diversity of our users, but we are truly committed to doing so. And we are passionate that everyone, no matter where you are in every corner of the globe, has access to this information. Building inclusively with an inclusive and global lens and taking into account the diversity of our users is a huge priority. So with that, thank you so much for having me over in South Africa and allowing me to share a little bit about how we're building more inclusive products for everyone. And with that, I'll pass it over to my colleague Dave Shapiro, who is going to tell you about what we're doing in Access. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dave, and I work on what we call our Next Billion Users initiative. I'll talk more about that in a second, but I just wanted to start by saying what an honor and privilege it is for us to be here with you in South Africa today. So thank you for welcoming us out-of-towners so warmly. So, thanks. I haven't even announced anything yet. This is a great start. So we know that the next billion people who are coming online won't be coming from countries like US and in Europe. They'll be coming from places like Nigeria, India, Indonesia, and of course, right here in South Africa. And people who are coming online for the first time want the same things, the same experiences, they have the same ambitions, the same aspirations as people do everywhere, regardless of where they're from. And in fact, what we're seeing for people who are coming online for the first time is that they're adopting technologies like smartphones faster than we've ever seen. However, they face challenges. So right here in South Africa, we know users need high performance, more affordable devices, more affordable connectivity. Now you heard Mariam talk about what Google is doing to get more high quality devices, more affordable devices in the hands of more people in South Africa. I'm going to talk about what Google and the Next Billion Users team is doing to improve connectivity here. So according to local research, South African would have to work an average of over 5 hours at minimum wage just to be able to afford 1 gigabyte of data. And in order for South Africans to get access to the information and the tools that they need to grow their careers, to grow their businesses, people need affordable, high-quality ways to connect to the internet. So now I'll tell you about a connectivity project we launched a few years ago. It's called Google Station. It gives you fast, free, open access to the internet through public Wi-Fi. Back in 2016, we formed a partnership to bring internet access to India. We found that by bringing together Google's network infrastructure management capabilities, as well as our ability to monetize Wi-Fi through our advertising business, we could help our partners extend their networks and provide connectivity to even more people. So we're now contributing connectivity in over 8 countries. We currently have millions of people who are coming online at Google Station every day. And in fact, we see many people who are coming online for the very first time are coming through Station. So today, I'm thrilled to announce that we're bringing Google Station to South Africa, to the Cape Flats region. Let me show you a quick video that will give you a sense of how impactful this connectivity can be.
Bro, se vê, meu bro.
also sing. We are
Okay, Google, how can I get the ambulance?
Uyabona ke baba, ushishini lwakho lubhalisile online.
I love that video. It gives you just a taste of how enriching, how incredibly empowering being connected can be. So we know that public Wi-Fi, that being connected, is highly valued by South Africans. The thing is, ISPs, telcos, venues face challenges when they're trying to deploy and maintain a sustainable service. So that's where Google comes in, our technology, our ISP partnerships, our advertiser relationships. That's where that all comes in to make this work. So I'll now hand over to my friend and colleague, Adama Diallo, who's head of partnerships, to tell you more.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Adama, and I work on Google Station Partnerships. Station is in South Africa. Fast, free, open access to the internet through Google Station is only possible thanks to our partnerships with local internet service providers and all the internet players in the ecosystem. I want to thank Janine Rebello here, Marlis Kruger, the founding partners of Think Wi-Fi, our very first Google Station partner in South Africa. Please stand up. We certainly cannot achieve this on our own. We work with ISP partners to identify high traffic locations, ideally in underserved areas. You've seen the video, where people spend a lot of time. We then rely on them to design, deploy, and operate infrastructure that deliver a quality user experience. Google then provides the platform to onboard and engage users and work with advertising partners to make it financially sustainable. In South Africa, we're excited today to announce Telkom and Showmax as our first advertising partners. For those of you that have been enjoying and using the free Wi-Fi here today, you might have seen how easy it is to get online. It's very quick. The sign-up process consists of only 3 single steps. First, you have to select free Google Station Think Wi-Fi. Second, when the browser opens, you just have to click on Start. And then press Connect and enjoy. It's very simple. And this would be the exact same simple flow that users will experience whenever they connect to Google Station in South Africa. Now, let's hear from Blakesdorp community leaders about what access to the internet has meant to their people there.
It makes me more than excited because obviously now I know each and everyone in Blakesdorp, in our area, has access to Wi-Fi, to internet. There's currently 9 stations, 11 more of those stations are coming into Blakesdorp. Like Anati now is doing a digital course on the internet, right? So that will help in future. There's one person that found a job. Google Station helped him in finding a job. One of the school teachers now, they told me that something is happening with Blakesdorp since she didn't know what it is because she didn't know there was free internet yet. Because the children are now on time with the task, they're doing the task better, and all of these type of things that is happening, which she never thought will happen. But she could see an improvement in the children that is in her class from Blakesdorp.
Thank you, Mr. Jerome. Isn't this incredible? As Mr. Daniel said, finding a job, learning new skills, studying for an exam. This example shows how digital inclusion can positively impact people's lives. And this is what makes our work really meaningful. From Latin America to in Asia, today in South Africa, millions of users get to experience the power of fast and reliable connectivity using Google Station. Google Station is live today in more than 100 locations in places in South Africa like Langa, Kailicha, Guguletu, Alsace River, Philippi, and other surrounding communities. Together with our partners, Google Station is here to connect the unconnected South Africans to the information they need to feel empowered. We would like all of you to experience the power of Google Station, so I encourage everyone to connect and try it out. Also, please visit our digital playground to see the live locations across South Africa, listen to the stories of our users, and engage with all the community leaders here that have joined us today to share the stories. Thank you, everyone, for being part of this special announcement. It's very early days for Google Station in South Africa, and we're looking forward to see what people can do when they can connect online. And I would like to welcome on stage Yavi Maduri, the technical advisor of the Deputy Minister of Telecommunications and Digital Technologies, who is representing the Honorable Minister, Pinky Kekana. Thank you.
Before I start, because I'm obviously not Deputy Minister Pinky Kekana, but before I start, will the other people in the room, can we please stand up and give Google a standing ovation? That is a game changer of note. Google Station, please, to the 50 Googlers in the room. Thank you. So I would like to recognize the other government departments in the room, the other government representatives, and then to the Google executive team, Nitin Gajria, David Shapiro, Mzama Masito, Fortune Sabanda, Google partners, the media, ladies and gentlemen. So I am standing before you today because the Deputy Minister, and she's going to be very sad that she missed out on this particular event. She was called on by the President to attend something, so this morning I was told I need to come in and represent. So please indulge me. I am not, because I got the speech, well, not got the speech, but I had the speech this morning, I'm going to have to read, so please indulge me. So let's start out by talking about a digital divide, which is best described as the characterization of the gap between individuals or countries that have access to technology and devices and the countries that quite simply don't. South Africa faces so many developmental issues that make it one of the most complex societies in the world today. Our beautiful country is divided by ethnic inequality and discrepancies in the level of development between the different sectors. In our world, these obstacles result in disparities in so many ways. But when it comes to access to information and communications technology, or ICT, it means we have a digital divide. This added to the fact that economically and socially, we are known as the most unequal country in the world. So, will the advancement of technology in Klaus Schwab's fourth industrial revolution divide us further or bring us closer together? Only time will tell. As we look to stakeholders like you, everyone in the industry, and Google specifically, because you're taking this so very seriously, and I still have goosebumps from the announcement, and you're actually doing something about it. Thank you. Speaking of time will tell,
There were nearly 2 whole centuries between the first and second industrial revolutions. We're now living in either the third or the fourth industrial revolution, depending on who you speak to and where you're at. In Gauteng alone, depending on where you're moving around, you're either experiencing third or 4IR. But wait, we have not even dealt with 4IR in this country as yet, and already scientists across the globe are referring to humankind being on the cusp of the fifth industrial revolution, a digital divide even further. And yes, already. So with 3IR only fully getting underway in 2012, according to The Economist, that's a lot of industrial revolutions for just 1 decade. But it's an illustration of the extremely rapid pace of change that we now live in from a technological advancement perspective. China and India leveraged the third industrial revolution for economic emancipation. And if Africa, if South Africa allowed ourselves, we would be able to do the same with the fourth. So may the fourth be with us. Yesterday, you can't tell I said that. Yesterday, we attended the President's second annual investment conference, attracting investors from all over the globe. Their biggest issues with South Africa is an enabling environment that does not have legislation and regulation that supports large-scale investment. Additionally, they were focused on supporting investment with skills development programs and bringing the most advanced technology into our midst. The Deputy Minister, and if any of you know her, you will know she's a lively, bubbly, small little person that fills up a room. And the one thing, or a couple of things, but one of the things she's exceptionally passionate about is small businesses. You all would have seen Stats SA released their unemployment stats, and the media were referring to unemployment in this country as a bloodbath, with black women and youth as the most marginalized. So, and I'm sorry we couldn't be here yesterday, but Google's program, where they trained 300 small businesses, job seekers, and cloud developers on critical digital skills to advance their business ventures and careers, was exactly an investment in our people, in our country, and a commitment to economic growth. I stand here on behalf of her, grateful knowing that this was not a once-off initiative, as you are launching so many amazing products today in an effort to close that digital divide and strategically drive your commitment to South Africa's digital inclusion. I say this having just come back from GovTech and understanding the challenges the SMMEs are facing. The fourth industrial revolution requires access and skills. Nothing more, nothing less. You, Google, are committed to both, and we are very appreciative of the measures and products you are putting in place to put action behind words of commitment. We are so looking forward to Google Station, the Wi-Fi solution program aimed at connecting underserved communities in Cape Town for the moment, such as Khayelitsha, Philippi, Gugulethu, and others. They are some of the poorest communities in Cape Town, and many of these people living in these communities cannot afford data to enjoy the benefits and growth opportunities that the internet presents. So Google invited us, DM, to the ICANN Center in Cape Town 2 weeks ago to meet and engage with learners from young kids to adults from these really depressed communities. So we have first-hand understanding of the work that you are doing in these communities. As a qualified teacher, DM was extremely excited about Bolo, your Android app that can work offline being the key word, developed to aid kids in grades 1 to 5 to learn, and 3-year-olds apparently, wherever they are, using their own voice. Can you imagine them hearing themselves? Access, skills. Nothing more, nothing less. I will leave here today and join DM and the Minister for the meeting with the President and the 4IR Commission, where they are outlining goals and implementation plans. We are there, you are here, delivering and helping us achieve the goals of a digitally inclusive society. The investment conference yesterday raised a whopping 363 billion rand. Round of applause for Mr. Ramaphosa. The banker in me says 371 if you count the things that are waiting for regulatory approval. And the investor confidence at the conference was palpable. If you were there, you will know exactly what I mean. Every time a commitment of investment was made, you could feel the levels of positivity rising in the room. It was tangible, to say the least. The president said he would never complete a speech in the next few days and weeks without making reference to the strength he is drawing from the Rugby World Cup win and the team themselves. He described it as his inspiration and wanted all of us to understand that on a national scale, on an international level, we are indeed stronger together. Even the Australians and the British, before they made their commitments, had to congratulate us. So, but why am I telling you all of this? I'm saying this to you because it's simple, really. Because of the fact that we are definitely stronger together when we work together. So, dear Google, thank you for the commitment towards digital inclusion, quality education, and access for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Yavi. Thank you so much for those wonderful words, and do pass on our deep gratitude to the ministry at large and especially the DM for all the wonderful work that we've been able to do with you. Thank you so much. Now, my name is Nitin, and I've been here in Africa for a couple of months. So I've been in my role for a very short period of time. What's already evident to me, even in this short period of time, is the incredible amount of talent, incredible amount of skill, hustle, and drive that exists among young people in Africa. Africa's time is truly now. What happens over the next few years in Africa is not just important for Africans, but it is important for humanity at large. A fourth of the world's population will be living here very soon, so the future of Africa is the future of humanity. Now, our job as Google here is to enable the fantastic work that young men and women across Africa are already doing. The products and initiatives that we have announced today, they highlight some of the ways that we're trying to do that here in South Africa. Now, over the next few minutes, I'm going to talk to you about a few more things that we're working on in order to be more helpful to businesses, to be more helpful for users, and also the things that we're doing to work on connectivity challenges. First up, let's talk about how we're helping users. Now, with technology, we believe that we can help our users, we can help citizens of this country stay safer on the roads. So today, we're announcing a new feature on Google Maps called Off-Road Alerts. Now, this feature was born out of an interesting insight where we saw that passengers in a ride-hailing service, they tend to open Google Maps as an additional safety measure while they're riding in that service. I see a few heads nodding, so clearly this is an insight that resonates. Now, with this new feature, off-road alerts will show users an alert when the driver that they're traveling with goes off the recommended route by half a kilometer. This way, the passenger can then check with the driver as to why they've taken a different route. The passenger can then either tap on reroute or alert friends and family by tapping on share trip progress if they are concerned. Now, we're doing all of this because we want South Africans to feel safer while traveling in their cities. Now, let me transition to talk about what else we're doing to help businesses. I'm going to start by talking about Google My Business. Now, since launching Google My Business 5 years ago in this country, we've helped 1 million businesses in South Africa connect with users that are looking for them online. Now today, and in a mobile-first country like South Africa, where customers search for businesses, they're generally looking for things like grocery store near me or restaurants near me. And then they're looking to complete that loop by looking for directions to that particular business, or initiating a reservation, or asking what products a particular store offers. So we're really looking forward to evolving Google My Business to continue serving that purpose for businesses in South Africa. Let me talk about advertising. Now, the advertising industry has gone through a tremendous transformation over the last several years. It is a time that is both intimidating as well as exciting to be a marketer today. It's harder than ever for brands to connect with consumers, but brands can connect with consumers in richer ways than they've ever been able to do in the past. Now, to help this journey along, today we are launching the first Sub-Saharan Africa Think with Google portal, a home for all insights, trends, and success stories from African businesses. This is going to be open to anyone to access, and in fact, there's several advertisers in this room that are already featured on this portal. So please do check it out at thinkwithgoogle.com/SSA. Have a look and let us know what you think. And I just want to take a moment to thank all the brands that have taken the time to share their success stories with us. And now onto our cloud business. We're working on our cloud business, and we're working to make sure that South African businesses and African businesses have access to Google technologies. This is why we've partnered with DigiCloud Africa to expand our support for partners all across Africa who are offering Google Cloud services. Now, I've talked about being helpful to businesses and to users, but without solving problems of connectivity, all of this doesn't matter. Now, a couple of months ago, we announced Equiano, our new subsea cable that will connect Africa with Europe. Once completed, this subsea cable will start in Western Europe, run along the west coast of Africa between Portugal and South Africa, with branching units along the way that can be used to extend connectivity into additional African countries. This will be the largest subsea cable in Africa. Now, in closing, since we've been in Africa, we've had the privilege of working with some amazing partners. These partnerships have helped us scale our business, reach more people. I'd like to say a deep, heartfelt thank you to all of the partners that have worked with us over the years, and we have many of you in this room, so thank you so much. I also do want to take a quick moment to thank all of my friends and colleagues at Google who have worked extremely hard behind the scenes to bring a lot of these products to life, and who've worked extremely hard to bring this event to life. So thank you so much. I'm so proud of what you've been able to achieve. Africa is not the future, it is now. All our announcements today echo our commitment to South Africa and to the continent at large. From being a part of the hustle in Nigeria, to thinking up new applications for artificial intelligence in Ghana, to opening up the wonders of Kenya to the world, and helping 1 million businesses grow right here in South Africa. We are here for Africa. Thank you so much.